Witch Trials Weekly, Video 15, April the 22nd to April the 28th, 1692. Guilt by association.
Before court convened for examinations on April 22nd, the girls supposedly saw all the witches flock to Reverend Parris's pasture. Abigail Williams told the crowd that the specter of Reverend George Burroughs led the meeting and reminded the witches that their job was to replace God's churches with the devil's. Rebecca Nurse, Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Sarah Wilds gave the devil's mock communion to the gathered witches. The devil was even at this meeting and read a list of 72 new recruits, bringing the supposed membership to over 300. This new information must have terrified the people of Salem Village and the surrounding communities. Over 300 of their neighbors were witches. Because witchcraft was seen as something that could be taught, it was common for family members of accused witches to be accused as well. Thus, Abigail Hobbs' stepmother and father were accused and arrested. During the examination of Deliverance Hobbs, Judge Hawthorne and Corwin decided to bring Deliverance in without naming her to see if the girls could properly identify the physical person, not just the supposed specter. Some of the girls could not identify Deliverance, but Ann Putnam Jr. and John Indian both did. Deliverance Hobbs weakened throughout her examination until she finally confessed to signing the Devil's Book that Sarah Wilds and Sarah Osborne brought her. She also confessed that the two women brought her images and pins to use to hurt the girls. Her confession stopped her specter from hurting the girls. She was held for trial. William Hobbs, Abigail Hobbs' father, was also examined. Several girls were afflicted in court as his specter leapt from his body. Although William maintained his innocence, the confessions of his wife and daughter weighed heavily against him, and he was held for trial. Sarah Wilds had been considered flashy and forward as a young single woman. She was now married, but the family of her husband's first wife didn't like her. She was held for trial, and as we said last week, Constable Ephraim Wilds thought Deliverance Hobbs spoke out against his mother as revenge for him arresting her. During the examination of Nehemiah Abbott Jr., Ann Putnam Jr. was the only one who could identify him correctly, and only Mary Walcott recognized him from his specter. He refused to confess, and because not all the girls could identify him, they sent him out to await further questioning. They questioned him again outside because it was too dark for the girls to see his features. Upon the second examination, the girls decided he was not the specter that had been bothering them. Thus, Nehemiah Abbott Jr. became the first of very few people released during the trials. Mary Esty was the sister of Rebecca Nurse and Sarah Cloyce. She denied being a witch, saying, "Sir, I never complied, but prayed against him all my days. I have no compliance with Satan in this. What would you have me do?" When she clasped her hands, Mercy Lewis could not part hers until Mary Esty released her own hands. When she bowed her head, it needed to be set back up because some of the girls' heads fell as well. After these occurrences, Mary Esty said, "It is an evil spirit, but whether it be witchcraft, I do not know." She was then held in jail to await trial. Edward Bishop was examined on the 22nd as well. He had beaten John Indian to stop his fits and had wanted to beat others to their senses as well. Notes from his wife, Sarah Bishop's, and Mary English's examinations did not survive, but all three were held for trial. Sarah Bishop was an easy target as Sarah Wilde's stepdaughter and Edward Bishop's wife. When Nathaniel Putnam's slave, Mary Black, was examined, she would answer, "I cannot tell," when asked questions, and denied hurting the girls or knowing who did. When she went to pin her neckcloth, however, several of the girls felt jabbing pains in their bodies. She was held for trial. All 8 suspects were taken to Salem jail. On April 23rd, Ann Putnam Jr. was plagued by the specter of John Willard, who tried to get her to sign the Devil's Book. He had originally helped the afflicted in the Putnam house and arrested some of the suspects, saying, "Hang them, they are all witches." He later resigned as more people he thought innocent were accused. John Willard confronted Ann Putnam Jr. in person on Monday, April 25th. Ann couldn't tell the real Willard from his specter and promised to keep quiet if he would stop hurting her.
This video was produced with special permission from the author, Marilyn K. Roach, and publisher, Cooper Square Press. The Salem Witch Trials, a day-by-day chronicle of a community under siege, covers the years 1692 to 1697 in detail. It also touches briefly on important and relevant events before and after this time. We are proud to carry all of Miss Roach's books and publications in our museum store. To get a copy for your personal research and enjoyment, please visit www.salemwitchmuseum.com.